All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading the Markets. I am your host, Vays, coming to you live this Saturday. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Time. In exactly 30 minutes, we will be doing Twitter Spaces. The Financial Summit will be hosting Twitter Spaces. I will, of course, be there as one of the main speakers. So if you're watching, make sure you go and join us in Spaces, because that's where you'll get to talk to us and ask us your questions, because we do really like making it interactive. All right, so that's my main reason for doing the stream, is to bring attention to Spaces, and I have to open another pack. I have been dying to open another pack since yesterday's pack, where I'm. Anyway, let's go to the charts. This is gonna be over in about 20 minutes. I want to give myself 10 minutes to prep before Spaces begin. So we have to get this done in 20 minutes, open a pack, and then get ready for Twitter Spaces. All right, I'm going to try to begin these streams with keeping an eye on when the halving is. I believe the halving will be this month in 1 year from now. I believe the halving will take place in March. Right now, if you're averaging it out at a 10-minute, between blocks, it's not going to happen till the end of April. But as I am expecting price to rise, I'm expecting more miners to come online, and this feels closer to the average. Maybe the average will be 9 minutes, 20 seconds, which will bring the halving into March. Okay, so right now it's 8 minutes 40 seconds between blocks. And if it's at this pace the entire time, then the halving would be in February. I think it will be at the end of March, personally. That's my view on it. Let's go to the charts. The stock market, let's go to the stock market first. I did a video yesterday morning. The market was still trading, and the market just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. One of the best days in the stock market for a while. This was a 1.75% increase. The last time we had a candle like that, that's 1.4. That's we should also look at it low to high, to be honest with you, not the body of the candle. But this looks like a formidable candle, 2.16%. That is probably the closest one. So is this one, 1.74%. Look, when these massive candles happen, look what happens to the price of the S&P then after. It continues to go up. This was the last line of defense before trouble set in. And for those of you that say TA doesn't work, look at it right here. It looks even better on the weekly scale. Sorry, the S&P chart with the daily scale. And look at that. Perfect double support, perfect MRI support, perfect MRI buy. You cannot get any better. The MACD on the daily is about to cross over in bullish territory. The Arun on the daily already crossed a little bit higher than I'd like it to. You can see that it crossed clearly above the blue line, not ideal. The RSI looks good, never even made it to oversold. It's a little bit higher than the last RSI, showing you confirmation. Everything is great. The weekly chart on the S&P, if we get a bullish candle next week, I would expect the stock market to rise and rise significantly. Who says TA doesn't work? Watching this channel, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many haters watch my channel. Sometimes people watch my channel just because they have nothing better to do with their life, and they can't stand me. There's a fair number of those people. Okay, gold, not really interesting to me, but it might be if gold goes above 1,875. Oh, let's get back to Bitcoin and correlation. So Bitcoin dropped while the S&P rose a lot. I believe this has to do, 90% of the reason for this is Silvergate Bank. Silvergate Bank, which probably made stupid mistakes in their dealings with companies like FTX and Celsius, because even though Silvergate Bank was doing a great job helping the crypto industry, people working at Silvergate Bank did not know the difference between BitConnect and, say, BitConnect. Bitcoin and BitConnect was the same thing to them. Bitcoin and OneCoin was the same thing to them. The people working at Silvergate were more interested in, having headlines that they are a bank for the crypto industry without actually doing any due diligence, knowing what the hell they're doing when it comes to the crypto industry. You have to assume that everything in crypto other than Bitcoin is an outright scam. And when you have a banking institution that could have existed for decades, and the people at that company don't understand that everything other than Bitcoin is either an outright scam or an unlicensed security, like Gary Gensler says. Now, if that's not their outlook on the crypto space, they're going to end up making some bad loans to fraudsters that are going to take down their institution. And like I was saying before, it looked really, really good for Bitcoin on the daily chart, that it went back in tune with the S&P 500 now that the contagion from FTX appears to have been, calmed down. And the moment I said that, literally the next day, it was proven that the contagion from FTX has not been resolved, and Silvergate is likely to be a casualty of FTX, but they delayed it as long as they could in order to salvage their company. But it looks like it's not going to go very far. And we know this to be true because of the stock market. So if you look at Silvergate Bank, Silvergate Capital, there it is. The chart clearly states that this bank is done. So the top comes right with Bitcoin. So it became a proxy for Bitcoin, just like MicroStrategy is a proxy for Bitcoin. The weekly chart tops on an MRI top, and then it's acting pretty similarly and being correlated to Bitcoin. It rises from June 2022 to August 2022. Let's see how Bitcoin did on a weekly scale from June to August 2022. This is the weekly scale, June to August 2022. Right here, June to August, Bitcoin rallies, so does Silvergate, and then Bitcoin goes into a triangle that crashes with FTX in November. Let's see what Silvergate did. That's got to be that's got to be November right here. So it crashed with FTX. Oh man, I wish I had water on my desk. Not much. But then Bitcoin rallied as of the beginning of 2023. But investors that have inside information, or investors that have the ability to read publicly available company documents, knew that Silvergate was in trouble. And this week, shit hit the fan, and now the price of Silvergate Bank is we're at $5.77, and the last time that was the price of the stock was, wow, okay, never. So the answer is never. So this is what happens when it's not Bitcoin's fault. Bitcoin's doing just fine. The price of Bitcoin is certainly higher than it was in July, in June, July of 2020. So Silvergate, as I'm going to be as politically correct and as nice as possible, they fucked up, okay? And this is what happens when you have people in charge of a company that just don't know what they're doing. Silvergate is done. Your company hit an all-time low versus your IPO. And you had all of these great positive earnings, and all you had to do was provide banking services for the crypto industry, and your stock could have been here right now. It could have been there easily. But they decided to go a step further and probably lend money to companies that can't pay it back. And now Silvergate is in trouble. Stocks don't go to new lows. Okay, they just don't. Meanwhile, what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin, if we look at the price, Silvergate Bank, between November 2019 and October 2020, when it started to rise, stock was at 15 bucks. Let's go to Bitcoin. We're on a monthly chart now, so let's go to monthly Bitcoin. It's my new monthly Bitcoin chart, but I'm going to play around with this one as well. Let's go to November 2019. A Bitcoin price under 10 grand. 10 grand was basically the top. And it stayed that way until July 2020. And in October 2020, Bitcoin, well, it broke like, say 10,000, right? Like this range. Bitcoin broke out above 11,000 in October 2020, and the price of Bitcoin went up on the breakout. Initially 400% and eventually 500%. I'm going to round 400 and 500. What about Silvergate? Initially, it broke out 1,200. Wow. Eventually, look at that, 1,500. Okay. It was certainly a better leverage trade. This is like a shitcoin. Bitcoin starts to pump. Anything like same thing with Bitcoin miners. And remember, if a Bitcoin miner screws up, the miner will go out of business, right? So this is the smart play. And yeah, you're a genius. The Cathie Wood play as well. You're a genius here, but look at it now. Bitcoin is still double the price it was, more than double the price it was in this range, and Silvergate is at a new low. So by this point, Silvergate, while being up 12, 13, 1,500%, now Silvergate is down 75% from that area, from where it broke out. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is up like 150% from that area. So this is where you got to be careful. And don't shitcoin, guys. Be real careful. And I'm talking to the employees of Silvergate Bank because this is your fault. All you have to do is provide proper crypto services. Okay, enough of Silvergate. Let's go look at Bitcoin charts. I'll be talking about this chart as halving draws near. I made this chart for a presentation that I did online. I did an online presentation about the Bitcoin markets. This was one of the charts I was presenting. It was on full screen, of course, so it was a lot clearer. This is kind of my projections, my outlook. I did this presentation at 60 weeks away from the halving. It's 60 bars on a weekly scale. So it's about 60 weeks away from the halving, so a little over a month, like 6 weeks. 6 weeks away from the halving. No, sorry, 6 months away from the halving. What am I talking about? Not 6 weeks. No, okay, sorry. 1 year, 2 months away from the halving. I don't know, this 60 is like frying my brain right now. We're 1 year and 2 months away from the halving, maybe even just a year away, a year and a month away. But this is the estimate. I am estimating that the halving is going to take place at the very end of March. To check ABBV next week. Like I'm going to check it like not over the weekend. But yeah, remind me again. So this is my projection. There's 2 paths. We can hit this line twice, like we did in the last cycle. We can hit this line once near the end, like the way we did in the prior cycle. If we hit it near the end, we're going to go higher. If we hit it twice, we're going to go lower. Personally, I'd rather hit it twice. I'm tired of Bitcoin being this cheap. Okay. Weekly chart, how did the week close? The week closed poorly, which at the moment sets us up for a pullback all the way down to the long-term moving average and $20,000. Now, I really don't want to see us break the Lucid SAR, and I would like to see these moving averages separate so that Bitcoin can tackle these moving averages one by one, and they can tackle the MRI resistance line one at a time. It's easier to, if this is triple resistance, it's easier to tackle it one at a time. Like if you're going to fight 3 people, it's better to do it 1 per week than, or 1 per month than 3 at the same time. You can ask any boxer or any MMA fighter, right? Like they don't fight 3 people at the same time. It's a lot harder. And you want to do it 1 at a time. You want to tackle resistance 1 at a time. So this is not a bad thing. Therefore, our Consensio allocation chart is going to also wait. I expected us to cross over, and that's why I didn't add to my bullish position. I still did not add to my bullish position because the weekly was at resistance. And now the next time we get, hopefully we cross over, obviously cross over to the downside with a lower level of moving averages, and then reverse off the longer term moving average around 20. And then I can add to my bullish position. The financial summit, guys, the event is coming to the UAE, probably the most financially freedom-oriented place in the world. And no better place than the UAE for the financial summit. There will be Twitter spaces on the financial summit. Twitter spaces will take place in 10 minutes. This is why this video is going to be wrapped up, and I'm going to be joining the Twitter spaces from the financial summit. These are just a couple of topics. That's where you guys should ask your questions. And when did I say I trust the CEO of Silvergate? I don't remember saying that. I mean, I trust that he understands rules, but I certainly don't trust him in knowing what Bitcoin is. Only Fidelity. The only traditional company I trust in understanding crypto space is Fidelity. It's the only one. It's the only company that understands Bitcoin. The only traditional company so far. Obviously, MicroStrategy. Obviously, Square. That's almost it. That's almost it. I don't know. I'll admit I was wrong. Like, find it. Like, I have no idea. I don't ever remember. I don't ever remember talking about Silvergate. I don't know. Can anyone collaborate? I mean, I have 300 people watching. Can anyone collaborate that I've ever said anything? I don't ever remember talking about it. Like, I didn't know what the stock ticker was. I think it's the first time I've looked at their stock. Well, the depth cross on weekly always is more important than daily. But the problem is the halving, the Bitcoin cycles. I don't even know who the Silvergate CEO is. I don't even know if it's a man or a woman. Wait, I can't say those words. YouTube, please don't ban my channel. I don't know what gender the CEO is. I didn't mean to imply that there's only 2 choices. Please don't ban my channel. I meant to say I don't know what gender the CEO is. It could be anything of 72 genders. I apologize to anyone at YouTube that's watching. All right, daily chart. Red star candle, not good. Broke down the 50-day moving average. And right now, as long as we rebound right here, everything's good. If we fall into that $21,500 to $22,000 range, things get very dicey from the daily chart. The hourly chart looks absolutely terrible, but we are in the weekend. So I mean, I wouldn't take any of this seriously. It's gonna probably just, no one knows what's gonna happen with Silvergate until next week. So there should be no contagion for Bitcoin. It sucks for some Bitcoin companies that lost banking services because they probably lent money to fraudulent companies. No reason to look at Grayscale over the weekend. It also hasn't done anything. Oil is looking good. Let's see if the government will start siphoning off from the strategic oil reserve. Now that oil will go back above 80 next week. And natural gas is clearly on a rebound into a death cross. All right, that is it. Don't forget, Unconfiscatable is coming to Las Vegas for December 7 and 8. Let's open a pack and then come and join us at Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces, guys. Open your Twitter app, follow the Financial Summit, and we're going to go in there and chat about all things market. I'm going to grab another pack. I really don't want to see the last card. I really don't. How do I do this? How do I do this without seeing the card? I'm going to have to just open it completely. I'm going to have to open it like this. I'm not looking at the card, so we're all going to be surprised together. Card number 1 is resources. It's a resources card about resources. Card number 2 is the Freedom card. I haven't pulled this in a while. It's got a Statue of Liberty on it. Well, and the Bill of Rights. Yeah, that'd be nice if the Bill of Rights was actually followed. We have Beast card, which I've gotten many times. God knows how many of those I have. Really cool art. I think this is one of the favorite art from the creator. The Satoshi Nakamoto card. Super cool. Next, we have economics card of bear markets. Really cool art right there. The bear markets economics card. The economics assets versus liabilities. Wow, I have a lot of this card as well. Pull this card all the time. Again, really awesome art. We have money printer card. God, I think I pulled this in every single pack. I think I'm gonna have the most amount of that card. We have Swan. Swan, there is a link for Swan on tonevays.com/affiliate. Go and check it out if you plan to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Geyser card, don't pull these very often. Another resources card. And the rare card is, the education card. So not as more rare than the blue cards, but I need different red cards. This is like number 4 of this. There's 3 different red cards. I now have 4 of this one. I have 3 of another, and I only have 1 of the white paper resources rare card. So I'll probably be trading this for one of the white papers just so I can have multiple complete sets of cards that aren't as rare as 1 of 100. We're going to keep trying. I really want to pull a Cypherpunk card or the Tone Vays card. So I'll keep trying until I do. 1 pack per day. So that we'll keep going. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Come to Twitter Spaces Financial Summit. All right, how do I turn this off? All right, there it is. Bye, guys.